Anyways, moving on to our little bit of a overlap here of the NFC East and AFC West matchup. It's going to be the New York Giants, the somewhat red-hot New York Giants, heading to Mile High to face the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are going to be 6.5-point favorites. The over-under is 40. The money line side of things, the Giants plus 270 and the Broncos minus 340. Raider Jim, your thoughts, Giants at Denver.
Real interesting on the weather in this game. It didn't show that it was going to rain, but it does show possible showers, but it didn't give a percentage. So I don't know what that means come game time. Let me tell you, this New York Giants team, there's just something odd about them because I have a feeling they're just not saying it and it's just not hype. They really believe that they're going to start going out and winning games every time they take the field. And after I watched the recap of Denver against the Jets, let me tell you, the Jets, first of all, let me say this about the Jets. Minus 10 in the passing yards, 92 yards rushing, total yards for the game, 82. And for that type of offensive output, on the other side of the ball, the Broncos could only put up 13 points. They've got some issues maybe with Bo Nix. He seems to be regressing. He's definitely not playing up to this level where he should be, especially against a team like that. So what's going to happen this weekend? Guy we talked about last week, New York Giants, wears 0, and he is a defensive lineman. Brian Burns, the skinniest defensive lineman I've ever, big dude, but slight. He is going to rattle Bo Nix, and I think he's going to rattle him a lot. Cam Scatterbo probably going to get out there and have a little more success than 92 yards that the Jets did. I think they're going to come out, play strong. Watch out, because the Giants are going to come to play at Mile High Stadium. I will take the Giants plus 7 all day long, and over under 40, just by virtue of the fact the Broncos couldn't put it up against the Jets. They're probably not going to put it up against this team either, the Giants. So look for 20-17 under the 40.
Yeah, I'm with you on the under. I think two teams with the strengths being the defense. I mean, Denver's defense might be the best in the league. And again, when you play the Jets, your stats are gonna, be a little bit inflated. But I really, really like Denver's defense. But you mentioned it. It's the offense that really does need some help. The Giants side of things, defensive line, the pass rush, very, very impressive. My concern here is the Giants on the road. They're a very different team on the road, or at least we've seen that early on. Again, we saw them a few weeks ago. They take down the Chargers, and we go, oh my gosh, Jaxson Dart is for real. Next up, it's the New Orleans Saints. Oh, they're the worst team in the league, right? Well, the Giants are going to take care of business. No, they lose by 12. And then, maybe that was a flash in the pan against the Chargers. They're going to get killed by the Eagles. But no, in New Jersey, they get the job done. They dominate the Eagles. This game, obviously, in Denver. And in terms of take the crowd out of it, Denver has the biggest home field advantage because of the elements. Again, I think if you've never been to Denver, it's very difficult to explain just walking, not playing, just walking at altitude. If you're not used to it, is very difficult. And again, it's always kind of been maybe that'll be something down the line. I could do a little bit more research of when they come, because normally teams will arrive in the city Friday, they'll do a walkthrough on Saturday. They want to be there for as little as possible, at least continentally. I mean, I know the London games are a little different, but I do wonder if Denver, or teams that come to Denver, if you would see maybe a correlation of, what they got here on Tuesday, and maybe that bumps things up. I don't know. Again, just kind of thinking out loud. That's a big reason why I am actually going to take Denver minus 6.5. But I will say if that number does get up to 7, I think you do have to flip it the other way.
Oh yeah.
I think 6.5 is the ceiling for Denver, and I'm even still probably a little reckless with that. But the one thing I really do think this Denver defense is going to make life difficult, not only for Jaxson Dart, but for Cam Scattaboo. And the secondary of the Broncos is a lot better than the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, I'll get to them in a moment, but there were nobodies on that team. You have Malik Neighbors, who was out. Slayton was out as well. I think there was like I want to call him Chris Humphreys because that was the old basketball player, but I don't know, some kid Humphreys, 8 catches, 100 yards. So I think this is a moment for the Giants where they are going to maybe take a bit of a step back. Not really, though, because Denver is a very good team, but give me Denver 6.5. That's a lot, but I think this defense gets after it. And I really do think the offense eventually is going to figure it out. Why not now? In a spot where maybe all of your main thoughts should be, oh, Jaxson Dart is going to struggle, Bo Nix is going to struggle against a good defensive line. Maybe going back with the inverse, saying, you know what, maybe Bo Nix, this is the time he figures it out, and we all go, wow, impressed that he figured it out against that team. Also, I will say, look, and this is as a football fan, not as an Eagles fan, but as a football fan, I am happy for Brian Daboll. I want Brian Daboll to keep his job. I think he's a very good coach. He's gotten really the short end of the stick, it seems like, a lot. So again, as a football fan, I'm happy for Brian Daboll. One other
and I didn't put him on my list. I did.
Oh, you did. Wow.
I thought about it, but I didn't.
I mean, I think with the way Jaxson Dart is playing, he's almost kind of, unless the ground caves in on him. I do think at the very least he's given himself one more year. That, hey, you know what? We have our quarterback, we have our running back. Let me work with these guys now. I hope that's the case. One final thought on this game, maybe a little of emotion on this one. Demaryius Thomas, the late great Denver Broncos wide receiver, will have I believe his number retired, but they're definitely doing a little bit of a ceremony for him. So I don't know if you're a believer in that stuff, in the emotional side of it. There will be some emotion for the Broncos in this one.